Hello everyone, it's Melanie. I am back working on my book cover folio that I started in the last video. I'll link to that down below. Here's the first one that I made. So I was just trying to think of a way to use these book covers from paperback books or soft cover books that are staple bound. So I've been trying to think of a way to use these covers other than just saving the cardstock and whatnot. So I've been making them into, I've only done two, but I've been making them into these little pocket folios. And the next thing I'm gonna do on this one is I wanna do some painting on it, and then I'm gonna put the pockets on. And I think I'm gonna paint it before I do pockets. So the painting, like I mentioned in the last video, the painting really isn't for any reason other than just, well, to decorate it, but also I think to kind of blend things together. So I mentioned in the last video that I might want to sew fabric over these seams where it's the cover might get thin from folding, but I think I've reinforced them enough. I just made sure that, like on this one, I've got paper all the way down, and then in the center of both of these I put paper in the seams there. Oh, there's a gnat flying around. And then on this side, what I think I'm gonna do is I cut some strips of wallpaper, and I think I'm gonna just glue some wallpaper strips to the outside on this side to reinforce it. But I think I'm gonna do that after I do a little bit of painting on here. And this blue may not be what I'm wanting. But we won't know until we try, because I just kind of wanted something to... Watercolor may have been better to tie it together with. So really, I'm just kind of using this to sort of grunge it or age it or whatever you want to call it. And then, I mean, you could go in and paint it a little darker. So I grabbed some heavier paper, some cardstock that I thought would work good for the pockets, and I think I'm gonna do all corner pockets, angular pockets in this. Maybe I'll do this light, kind of this light coating, which I could have, the way I'm using this now, I probably could have just done this in watercolor. So I'll do it like this, and then I can put some lighter colors on top of it. I think that's what I'll do. But this will kind of tie it all together. I think I like that. Paint his berries. I mean, I'm just literally smearing paint on this thing and then kind of wiping it around. But when you have such, I don't know, the things on this page are so different, such disparate things on the page, I think maybe it does help if you just kind of put a coating of, you know, a color over it that just sort of runs through the whole thing. Ties it together a little bit. And I'm going to have my pockets here, 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 and here. So I'm really just concerned with, you know, this top portion of these pages. That was a lot. It's okay. This might not be everybody's cup of tea, smearing paint all over stuff, but definitely optional. Matt is back. Put a little bit on the cover here. I think I'm going to put a label on the cover, like right here. Put some more blue. And this is just, ooh, I like the way the water seeped into the cracked paper and colored it blue. Okay, so not everybody might like that. You might think that's just messy and yucky looking, but I kind of like how it once you get the collage all done, it kind of just ties it together. Then I was thinking I could put some doodle type of marks on here. This is a metallic, multi-surface metallic, and it kind of matches that cerulean. So in my head, I was thinking about just some sort of doodle marks, you know, kind of like got it dried. Once I got it dried off, I realized there's some spots that need some more glue. I've been trying to use some of this Elmer's all-purpose glue lately because I have so much of it. I really prefer this Scotch glue. But I thought for collage, surely, because this is more expensive than this one is. So I thought for collage, I could try and use up some of this Elmer's. But I have to really make sure I press down hard or it doesn't stick. do a little doodle on the outside of this. It's gonna be a pocket right there. I don't think that needs anything. Okay, I think the last thing I want to do is put some highlights on it, and I think I'm going to use this pale pink. And what I'm going for, what I hope I get, is just some kind of brush stroke looks. Not too dark, just... I like the layers. So just like the blue kind of softened the blue kind of softened the collage that I had done, you know, sort of tying it together, and then this kind of softens the blue a little bit, just with something lighter going over it, so that the blue is not so so prominent, and then it all kind of blends together better. And this is just basically a dry brush, just kind of dry brushing this on, so I get, you know, so I get brush marks and things. Okay, that's probably enough. I know you're I hope you're not, but I mean, I know you're probably looking at this thinking, "Oh my goodness, that's hideous." But we're gonna tie it all together. So for pockets, what I was thinking for pockets, I wanted to use cardstock and some heavier papers. So, and I'm going to sew the pockets in place. I was kind of thinking for this one, I love this piece of paper. And I was kind of thinking about this for this one. So what I'm going to do, this is just that blue painter's masking tape. I'm going to tape the pockets on kind of where I want them. I thought I cut one specifically, yeah. Where I want them. And then I'll go back and sew everything. So I think I'll have those two there. And then, and what I did for these pockets, I just measured, you know, measured inside the folds there for this portion of it. And then I cut these pieces 4 inches tall, and then just cut it at an angle, whatever the width was, times 4 inches tall, and then just cut it at an angle. So I'm just gonna tape these in place, because there'll be a couple of steps to actually stitching them on. round that corner. That's the thing about rounding corners. Once you do it once you do it one time, I feel like then nothing matches unless you keep doing it. That is actually cut to go this direction. I guess I could do that. It's not my favorite print, but. So the way I'm going to sew this together, now I have these, see my pockets are taped in place all the way on. I've got 6 pockets. So what I'm going to do now is stitch all the way around the outside edge. And when I do that, it's going to attach these pockets across the bottoms and some of the sides, and then I'll have to go back and stitch these inside pieces on the side because it will actually attach, and these, I'll have to do these. So I'll go back and stitch those, and then I'm going to glue that other on. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to sew all the way around the outside edge. I'll be right back. Okay, so I stitched all the way around the outside. So now I can take these, my little tapes off, and I need to stitch these 2, the sides are already stitched, but I need to stitch down the sides of the other 4. Okay, what I ended up doing here was stitching, I stitched down this, well, I stitched down one side and then across the bottom and then up the other side. So what that did was sew both this pocket on the side and this pocket down. So I did that on both sides. I just stitched down one side and then across and then up the other side. So now all 6 of my pockets are secured. So there's that part. So if I want to distress or do anything to the pockets, I could still do that. And I may just do a little bit, just, so it matches too. Okay, so far I'm liking this. I want to go ahead now, I think I'm going to go ahead and glue that wallpaper on that I wanted to put here to reinforce the edge, and I'm going to use my good glue for that. And then the other thing I wanted to do on the outside cover was put a label on it. So I'll look in my little bin, my little folder here, and see what I've got for a label. And I could also, because I didn't stitch, I've got stitching down both of these sides, but I don't have any stitching down this. So I could, after this dries, I could stitch up the sides of that wallpaper, which I think actually I will do that. I'll just do a line of stitching here and here to kind of hold that wallpaper down on the get it on there good. And then let me see what I have. I have Rachel's labels. These. Kind of like that red. Wish I had that one in red, big. Let me look. Maybe I have it on sticker paper. No, I didn't print any red ones on sticker paper. I guess I printed, well, I don't know what I printed. I want to do that one then? I don't know, that round might not be bad. It's not really much room to write inside this label. And I will give it a little vintage photo. On the edges. Yeah, I do kind of like that because then you can still read this. I like how it says save or folder, you know, because this has become a folder. And if I put it on here like this, you can still read all of that, you know, Sperry and Hutchison and that kind of stuff. So I like that. So let's put this on the front. So now I have my wallpaper on, have my label on the front. I have my pockets all stitched in. So the next thing I'm going to do is put this little elastic closure on the outside. So this is just elastic cord. I may have gotten this particular, no, I guess maybe it came from Joann's. Oh, I think this came from the Dollar Tree. It's thinner, but these must have come from Joann. So I don't know what color I want on this. Maybe I want this bright yellow. Yeah, I like that. So I just cut off enough to like wrap around. And then I'll measure my spine here, 7 inches. So I'll find the center, which is going to be around 3.5, which is right there. But I think I want to do my stitching down the sides before I poke that hole. Let me see if this is dry enough. Okay, so that time I stitched it with a zigzag stitch. So now I can go ahead and poke my hole for my elastic. I'm not going to make a huge hole, just a kind of a small hole. And then to get this elastic through, I'm going to show you a trick. If you have just a regular sewing needle, like when I finish sewing, I always leave whatever little bit of thread is left on the needle. I just leave it on there. So it comes in handy for this kind of thing. So what you're going to do is just tie a slip knot in that thread. Cut it so it makes. So this is just, I threaded my needle and then I tied the thread into a, can you see that's white thread? Tied the thread into a loop. So then I'm going to put one end of my elastic through the thread, that loop, and then I'm going to put my needle through my book cover so that it catches the, so the loop of that elastic is in there. And then all I have to do is pull this through, and when I get it through, I just have to cut that thread. But that is it makes it so much easier to do like elastic and things in holes like that. So then I just decide how tight I want it. So that's probably pretty good. I'm gonna put a mark on it. And then I'm gonna have to pull it back out some to tie the knot. Just do an overhand knot. There we go. There, perfect. Okay, so there's 2 down. And in the next video, we can make some journaling cards and stuff for this, and then decide too if we wanted to sew, if we wanted to stitch some more paper into those seams. So stay tuned for the next video. If you like this one, guys, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.